Okay. Would one of the other two of you like to do a brief recap to partially catch?
I mean, I was gone, so I'm the pad person for that last session.
Right. Okay. So last time, I think they spent it basically gathering the required things to cure Septimus of being a Minotaur. So Septimus is back to being human. Aside from that, I don't think they really did much else because we were just trying to focus on that.
No, not really. We just cure Septimus and that's about it. And we had the message about the invasion on Tokra base by one of the heroes. Perseus, I think it was.
Yes. So they also got a message from the SGC saying the Tokra homeworld had been decimated in a military action by fairly large force led by a individual calling themselves Theseus.
Mm-hmm.
So the Tokra homeworld is
gone.
Yeah, wiped out. Survivors fled to the Alpha site. There's also been reports that it's likely they're going to start striking more allied worlds fairly soon. So it is up to your team to try and find a way to combat it, because if they sent all 50 SG teams to defend one world, yeah, you might be able to stop that particular invasion, but you've already discovered as you course through here that there's quite a lot more where they came from. They can
mass produce them pretty much.
I'm just trying to do the do the talent as quick as possible. What would you recommend for a human soldier?
I mean, you can take your time with it. They're not like, it's not going to be game breaking to not have them ready. So if you'd rather just read through them or even change them between sessions if you want something there in the meantime, I don't mind that.
What you can also do is, what's really nice is that these talents are organized by type. So you can I want gun combat talents, and then look at the combat tree.
Yep.
In terms of how the system works, I just need to set the group one. Just going to give the story points back. So we've got 3 people here today. So we go get 3 story points. If someone wants to give me, just as a demonstration, an average roll of some kind, so that we can explain the dice.
Yep. So this system will aim a little bit but you do pretty much the same thing every single time. All you do is it'll say the difficulty, and he'll say 2 purple, or it'll say average check, which was 2 purple. So you'll put 2, click up on 2 in that dice pool thing, and then all you have to do is click on the so if he says do a gun check, then I'll do a athletics check. Then you just go to your athletics skills under the skill tab, and then just hit the little dice button over at the right. Bada bing, bada boom. And you're pretty much doing that for combat, for skill checks. You're constantly just putting in the dice pool and then hit the button.
Yeah, everything is a skill check.
All right. I didn't realize that it was going to be this complicated.
It's not. It's not. It's difficult to get to where, especially when you are going from likes of 5e, which is really that simple. But
honestly, this is easier to use than 5e.
this is my first D&D game on the internet.
That's
Or
okay.
technically.
Well, it is simple. It is
Yeah.
different to get used to. It is very different than any other of the 20 systems because it's not the 20. It's a dice pool system. But once you get the hang of it, it's actually really simple.
And don't worry, feel free to ask questions. No one's gonna like
no
yell at you or
worries.
like make fun of you. You're good.
Yeah, alright, sorry. Yeah.
No, that's fine.
You have nothing
Take
to be
as long
sorry.
as you need.
Like,
Yeah. Alright, okay. Character name, character race. So just pick
Everyone's-
out the tier. So do I fill out this whole talent sheet or
no,
just
you
tier
just
1?
fill it out as you go. So you've got the 90 XP there that you can spend. So you can do it all now. You can just leave it and save it and try and work out how you want to go. You don't have to fill it all out. You just do it as you buy new talents, basically.
Alright, so
Yeah,
what do I need? So what do I need to do now?
You don't need to do it now. You can read through it at your own time and do
Yep.
it later.
so basically, you don't need to do anything now. We can just start. But like on your own time, you can like just see what you want to do. Like look at the skills, see what you want to build. There's not really a wrong way to do it, but you're pretty much you're up and running.
Yeah.
You've got everything ready
See
to
what
go already.
Yeah, see what works with you. Preferably, after the game, see what works with you. See what you need. See what you want your character to actually be really, really good at,
Alright.
and just go for it.
Alright. Alright, so what rank SG rank do I need to put in?
You
I'm
don't.
starting you at specialist, so it means that basically the bonus that you're going to get here is first you get the bonus from tier 1 recruit. So if we go to skills on your sheet,
Yep.
choose one of your career skills, whichever one you want.
Science, knowledge, travel, hold on, career. Oh, one of the ones you.
One of the
clicked.
ones you've got ticked, yeah.
Alright. I'll go.
By the way, if you have any questions of what the skills like do specifically, feel free to ask.
Oh, absolutely.
So some of them can be kind of confusing until like we explain it. They're like, oh, okay.
Alright, okay. I'll put in one rank into athletics.
Okay.
Is that right or not?
Yeah, so athletics will make you be able to like run faster, like
Yep.
jump higher, or like do physical things. So like if you're running away from somebody or you're trying to climb something, it can be really useful.
Yeah.
I'm choosing a common. Yeah, I don't know because I'm just starting out, and I assume that's going to be a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. That's relatively
Yep.
straightforward. So yeah, go back to your skills for a second there, and I'll, if you're going with that, I'll just add this into your modifiers. So what that basically does is, if you want to hit the dice button on the right-hand side of athletics, just so that you can see it roll. So the
I
modifiers,
can't see it roll.
Okay, so if you change to the chat tab on the right, you can do that while your
chat
character
tab.
sheet's open as well.
Alright, here's the chat tab.
Yep.
Go character sheet, skills, athletics.
Yeah. So what you can see there is the roll, and what I did was in the modifiers I put +1B, which is the blue dice there, and it's basically a boost. So it makes the roll a little bit better. So you can see when you compare that to your athletics, you've got one yellow dice that's rolled, 2 green ones, and 1 blue one.
Alright.
Do you know how the symbols, or would you like to explain the symbols, or?
Now I know the one with the pyramid is meant to be Earth, in the series.
Yeah.
The rest is just gobbledygook to me.
Okay, so
Yep. Okay. So basically, the way it works is there is this system works on success and advantage, and so you've got like total of 6 symbols, and then 2 of them each cancel each other out. So if you see the little sun symbols, that
Yep.
means and if you actually hover over it, you can actually see it. It'll actually tell you what it is. But that is basically if you have one of those things at the end of the check, that means you succeed the check. If you
Yep.
don't have any of these, then you don't succeed the check.
All right, no worries.
Yep. And then so if you look at the little pyramid thing, that's advantage. So basically,
Yep.
that's not about if you succeed. That's like if you do it well or like how well you do it. So basically, a good example is say you don't have any success on trying to pick a lock, right? Well, the advantage you might be able to spend to basically say, well, I wasn't able to pick the lock, but the alarm didn't go off. So
All right,
it's
fair
like
enough.
how you can kind of modify. So it's not just pass fail. It's like how well or how badly you fail.
All right, so like roll for jumping a 3-meter gap and having advantage means I jump it and do a backflip.
If you rolled like that, yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Just to show off. Anyway. Yep.
Yeah. So what we call the roll you just did is a simple check because there's no difficulty on it. You just rolled the check with only your skill and no difficulty dice.
Right, no worries. Yep.
If we want to increase the difficulty of the check, which we'd normally do if it's like a reasonable gap, you'd go up to the very top of the sheet where it says dice pool.
Yep.
And
Hold on. Cancel. Oh. Top of the character sheet where it says dice pool.
Yep.
Character sheet. Oh, dice pool. Yep.
And then it shows all the different colored dice. So if I said this is an average check, so average is 2 dice, so easy is 1 dice.
Purple dice,
is 2.
by the way.
Yes, purple. So easy is 1, average is 2, hard is 3, and then the other ones we'll discuss later. We'll just start.
Don't worry about memorizing it. We'll say it
Right.
so much that you'll just like you'll get it by just repetition.
Yeah.
All right. So when it's time to roll, just click up 2 on the dice. Sorry, click on the dice. Click on how many dice there is, and then click the middle button to roll.
Click on the skill. So
what you do,
yeah.
So if I say I want you to jump a relatively easy gap, change the purple number to 1.
Yep.
Then before you do anything, click off into a blank space somewhere on the sheet, or the sheet will not recognize you've changed it. And then you go to your skill.
All right. Skill. Yep.
And athletics if you're just jumping something, so you click the dice roll on that.
Yep.
And
that's a
now
check.
it shows the check, and you'll notice that you also have that purple dice now on there, along with the skill dice.
All right. No worries. Yep. Yeah, I've put that back to 0 now. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, that's basically how a skill check works, is you just increase the difficulty to whatever difficulty I say, make sure you click into a blank space before you do anything else, otherwise it won't recognize you've changed it, and then hit the roll on whatever related skill it is.
Yep, no worries.
And then just to show you, so like you know how there's a success and advantage up here?
Yeah, yeah, those are fail and those are threat.
Yes.
Yep, so the failure count cancels out the success. So for example, if I had on this green and I had 2 successes and I had 1 failure, that would mean I'd have 1 success because they just, they cancel each other out. Failure means you don't succeed the check, the opposite of a success. And then the threat is the opposite of a advantage. So if you like succeed the check, but you fail, but you have a bunch of threat, it's the opposite where like sure you pick the lock, but you also triggered the alarm. Something you did what you set out to do, but something.
Yep, no worries. Yep.
And then the last type of symbol that exists is one that you got in your first athletics check, which is a triumph. If you're comparing it to other sort of systems, it's basically a critical success.
All right, no worries. Cool. Yep.
And the reverse of that is a critical failure that you can only get from a red difficulty dice rather than a purple one.
All right, no worries. Is that all I need to know
Uh,
for the
Pretty
moment?
much.
yeah.
One other small thing is if you'll notice there's like blue, green, yellow, and then black, purple, red. They're pretty much like the same thing, but like opposite. Like one's good die, one's bad die. The green and purple are your standard, your normal dice. Your yellow and your red are like either super good or super bad, depending on yellow, red. And then your blue and your black are kind of like just little buffs, like just little things. So think of it just
Alright.
like little biggest on both sides, going from left to right.
Yep, no worries. All right,
Okay.
let's
And
get
you're
into
good.
this. Yep, Specialist Bruce Mundy, ready for duty.
Okay. And there you go. So should be all set. When you've doesn't have to be right now as well. Like in fact, do it in your own time whenever you want to. Find a picture to represent your character, and we'll set that up for your character too.
All right. Yep,
Okay.
yep, no worries.
But for the moment, where we left off was in this facility on the planet of Lemnos, and yeah, you've got the Septimus is the guy here. You've also who used to be a centaur, not a centaur, a minotaur.
Minotaur.
You've also got with you Dr. Leo and Dr. Roman Chekhov. But you, during the call from the SGC letting you know that the Tok'ra base was attacked, the Tok'ra homeworld, they also asked that you find a way to limit the effectiveness or outright disable the army, because there's no way that the SGC is going to stand up to being able to protect all their allies' worlds, or even necessarily Earth if they came to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So, the likelihood is that here and some of the other planets that the group has visited is where you're going to find the most likely places that are answers for the various threats that have been encountered will be.
Yep.
Okay, so they sent through the gate your new squad member here, Bruce Mundy.
Yep. Uploading file. Just what I downloaded.
Okay.
Hold on. It didn't save as an image. Save. Go to desktop. Oh, come on. It doesn't fucking save. Sorry. Working hard.
Okay, so Zhao, you were helping Chekhov deal with helping Septimus return to his normal human form.
Hey, you didn't die. I'm proud of you.
The human DNA they used to try and return him, however, was Dr. Leo's, so he doesn't look the way he did originally.
You can't win all your battles. Gotta pick them.
Where did I put his sheet? There it is. Okay, so, yeah, what sort of do you want to discuss how you're going to try and find a way to defeat these armies of, monsters and
Mythical
hyper-aged
creatures.
Yep.
Does anybody have any suggestions? I'm a cook. This is a little bit out of my pay grade. I'll help, of course. I
Means
just have
of
no idea what
control.
to do.
That kind of army, they need to have a means of controlling them.
This do we have any word of what type of is it like the replicas that are attacking? Do we have any information on the
You got told that the forces that attacked were a mixture of human, Jafar, monstrous
Mythical
creatures,
creatures. Yeah.
and you didn't hear about any replicators involved.
Well, that's good news because I may be a chef, but that means I know one thing. It's that supply chains win wars. So if we can cut the supply chain, we can starve them out.
Supplies and everything. They could live off the land and the resources there.
History has shown that proven that's not very effective, especially when combined with some scorched earth policy by the defenders.
Well, I could use the example of General Sherman during the American Civil War, but never mind.
Exactly, that's what I'm going.
What's American Civil War?
Yeah, never mind, it was just a thought. Let's, how do you reckon we should proceed?
We are in currently the base of the base for enemy. Information also wins wars. I think we've gathered. Have we explored this place pretty thoroughly? I forget.
No. We didn't explore all the floors, didn't we?
I think we skipped some floors.
Quite a few floors. What you'd found is that many of the creatures here, many of the mythological creatures that were created using this machine, did have nanites put into them as well, with a number of functions. One of the ones that you found was this function to sustain them even without nutrients or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
One of them was that you went through was
stopping the aging.
Yep, sort of preventing the normal aging process. You also found when you went to the previous planet, it was Piolas, that the nanites in the bloodstream of the Jafar and humans there were accelerating their aging and then halting it once they reached a certain age. So you've got rather common thread of nanites being used to both accelerate and halt aging process in most of the troops that have been used so far, which is how the Neo-Terracoi, and in this case Theseus, increased their army so rapidly.
Quick question. The nanites, do they all... I guess this is my question. Can I radio in and see if they attack during day or night?
When the attack happens, you mean?
Yeah, when the attack happened, do they have any idea if I'm looking for? Is there a common pattern of them attacking at night?
Yeah,
Or
like you get told that it was nighttime on the Tokra homeworld when they invaded.
all right, because where I'm going with this is we've already discovered that that with the Minotaur he has adverse reactions to the light, like they're weaker, and that even I believe that even someone who had like the nanites, somebody else besides him had the nanites, and it was a weaker reaction, but it was still a reaction. So if I'm correct in assuming that they put the nanites in those soldiers to increase their numbers and maybe their capabilities, perhaps that we could use this against them and create some artificial lights like some UV floodlights that would replicate sun and or attack their bases during the day.
I mean, yeah, the creatures kind of go berserk.
Right, but Berserk would help. They would go weaker, and if they go Berserk, that would not help. Berserk troops are not good orderly troops. That would destroy their cohesion.
Yeah, of course. But I like where you're going with it, but still, they need to have a way to control them. Yeah, your idea is great, as a first line of defense to have something going on for now, but still we need to find out how do they control them. How do they, what's the change of command? How do they issue orders? If we can say stop the control or take over control somehow, for all what we know, they might have nanomachines in their brains, receiving control signal, go that way, wreck this shit,
So I agree with you, but like I think that we should find that out because we have all the information here. But we should radio ahead for them to start developing the flashlights.
Okay. Yep. So let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, so you're...
Probably should not delay this vital piece of information.
Okay. Yeah, do you have any idea how you would make them, or are you just giving them sort of that advice?
I'm saying that they have adverse reaction to sunlight and to do we have any test samples that we could like send for them to like run tests?
I mean, they have data on Septimus and how he behaved, when they had lights on.
What I'm thinking is that we send them a sample back so that they can like perform tests with lights and such.
We have prisons full of weird creatures in a tower itself.
Can we safely extract one without having them all come alive?
I mean, they're all alive. They're just in cages.
I mean, yeah. Can we release one without releasing a mechanism that'll like?
Not that we know of. However, we can have the HGC research team in the tower just trying to find out how most effectively to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you want to ask a team to come here and inspect the nanite creating machines, you can definitely do that.
Yep, we'll do that. Let them know about the sunlight weakness and like kind of like direct them like, hey, we got an invasion coming. You might want to focus your inquiries on the specific possible weakness.
Okay. Yeah, so the SGC, using the information that you've been gathering, they send 4 SG teams, each on a different floor here, checking out the information, trying to find a way to deal with it. And So you're sort of, because your team, your SG team, has discovered the most information. General Carter has basically given you a little bit more freedom as to where you want to lead your investigation and where you want to go as a unit, because you're the ones who have been coming across all the information so far. So if you want to stay here and look for things on this planet, you can. If you want to move on to a different planet that you think might be useful, or go back to a previous one, you can do that.
We know that this gene mixing machine is not a gold invention, yes?
Yes.
So I propose we go to the secret top floor, explore there a little bit more, and find out where are more of those towers.
Sounds like as good a plan as any.
Okay.
I mean, if the civilization from other galaxy had a presence here, they must have more than that one.
Okay. So you're wanting to head to the top floors again?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were only here briefly.
Put the right version of Septimus in here. There we go.
Wasn't one of these like semen or mucus?
Basically, yeah, the big giant pool there.
It's a bio lab, yes. Bio thing. Let's try to go this way. We already been here. It's a giant thing, archive and stuff, but let's go see what this is and this is.
Okay. Yeah, so up here you see what appears to be two stasis chambers, from what you can tell, hooked up to little, like the large cylinder here in the center with the little blue things. You see this sort of large metal structure in front of you. The little blue things, they go all the way from the floor to the roof on this large cylindrical metal thing, and they look like jars, clear jars with some sort of blue liquid in them, and there's, they go from the floor to the ceiling all the way around it. They're about the size of a football, give or take. And then you can see those are linked by cables to the two stasis-looking pods, and then a smaller table-height device with several of those jars plugged into it as well. And
okay.
Then the last thing in there is sort of this large oval-shaped metal, almost like a chamber. You'd call it. It'd be roughly the size of like a queen-size bed, in terms of size. There are two windows on each side, and then one at the front and the back. And you can see in there a lot of the same sort of blue-looking liquid that's inside the smaller jars.
Okay. Can you cook something from this?
Before I do that, can I pick up one of the jars?
Yeah.
Can I do a alchemical investigation to see what consistency this is? What if I recognize the chemical makeup of it?
Yeah. If you want to give me a life science check.
What difficulty?
Hard. Yeah, you determine that this sort of makeup is this liquid is similar to like amniotic fluid, like the sort of stuff that happens around fetal development.
Some sort of bio stuff going on here.
Define bio stuff.
Amino. Big science words. Birthing fluid.
Are they birthing things in those things?
Possibly.
Cloning?
I wouldn't, with all the bio stuff downstairs, I wouldn't be surprised. Amniotic fluid.
Okay.
Zal, give me an easy society check.
We live in a society.
I was waiting for some cunt to say that. Yeah.
So Zal, looking at this stuff, you note an incredible similarity to the cloning setup that the Asgard have used for at least the last 1,000 years or longer.
Oh, this is most definitely cloning.
The liquid is almost identical to the sort of liquid you're used to seeing. It's, the stasis chambers are incredibly similar, to the point where you're actually starting to wonder if the Asgard might have learnt it from whoever this group is.
Are there any rats about or similar mammals to test the machine?
I mean, you could certainly head out of the tower and go find animals out in the wild.
I want to know, if we're trying to deal with this threat, is there a possibility we could use this on a mass scale to put together some sort of militia of clones?
I'm not sure if I trust the tech that much, but maybe. Do we even know if it's empty?
It was just an idea.
It's a good idea, but do we even know if they're empty first?
No one's checked.
True, we should investigate.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We haven't checked, so I don't really know if, for some reason, I think that just randomly opening up pods can be a very bad idea. I just have a premonition that doing that can mean bad things.
We'll knock on the door and see if anyone's home.
Because what could opening up a sarcophagus of an ancient dead or sleeping race? What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
They wake up and kill everything because they are hungry.
Well, I would be if I was sleeping for 1,000 years. I'd want breakfast.
Exactly. I would prefer to serve breakfast, not be breakfast.
I mean, you can try to serve me, not like I'm able to eat anything.
Would you like to be eaten instead?
I don't know. Do you want me to jump in one of those pods?
Not really. Not particularly. Do you want to jump in one of those pods?
I mean, I don't think it will do anything with me, but are they empty though? And which one is master and which one is a copy?
Do we even
It might
want
make a bio.
the question is, do we want to just randomly open it?
No, find out from somewhere what if there is something in it.
Where would we find that out?
I don't know. You're a brain person. I just shoot things.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, can I make a perception check to see if I see anything other in the liquid other than just liquid?
Yeah, sure. Give me an average perception. Yeah. You see. You certainly see something in the liquid of the small jars. In terms of the large stasis chambers, there's no windows to look into them, so you can see some readings on a little tiny like holographic screen there, but you don't recognize the readings precisely because it's in the language that you haven't been able to comprehend or decipher yet.
Okay. What's behind these doors? Are those open though?
They should be open. Did I leave
Okay,
them
let's go
closed?
through. So Onyx goes to the other chamber.
I don't actually have an icon on the screen. How do I get that up?
That's okay. I'll give you a temporary one for now.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Okay, can you come back? I kind of want to open it. If you train your guns on them, I do want to open up one of these pods.
Come here. We might. I think I found something more fun.
Okay. There you go. That should be one to represent you in theory. Nameplate. There you go. So yeah, at the moment we'll pop you where they are with those two. So that's down the map a little bit. If I ping here while I hold this, it would draw everyone here, I think. Yeah.
Yep, no worries.
So yeah, well, just okay. Yeah, it's as you enter this chamber, you see in front of you a number of different devices. Over on this side of the room, you seem to see what looks like a bench laid out with a bunch of different displays and two seats behind it. There is this sort of pyramid sort of shaped thing with three glowing blue orbs in it. There's another one on this side. This large sort of mass here looks remarkably similar to a brain.
See? I told you it's more fun.
All right. Yeah. I'll go have a look at the left pyramid first and see what it is.
Okay.
Don't know how to move.
You should be able to grab your token and drag it around.
You can also use arrow keys if you prefer, or you can just drag it with your mouse.
Yes, you can use arrow keys as well. Yeah, so as you sort of investigate this this pyramid with the 3 glowing orbs, you can see that as you lean towards it, one of the orbs sort of generates inside it like a 3-dimensional sort of replication of your face.
Oh, do I know what this is?
Not off the top of your head. You can give me a daunting, which is 4 purples, life science or physical science check if you would like to try and work it out.
No worries. If I don't know what it is, I'll stick my head closer to it.
Okay.
Hold on, let me just get up my character sheet. Damn it. My character sheet, how do we get it up? Bruce Mundy, loading character sheet. How many dice do I need to roll?
4 purples. Make sure to click off of it before you go and roll the skill.
Alright. And then scroll down to the skill.
Yep. So life science or physical science in this case.
Life science. Okay, rolling.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely don't know what it is.
Alright, I stick my head in closer for a
Do I know what it is when I for that life science roll?
Yep.
You failed your first check with it.
Oh, it did go through. Shit, never mind. Did not realize.
So no, neither of you know what it is. But as Bruce leans in closer to this thing, you start to see more of your body sort of start to develop in this little 3-dimensional sort of imitation of you. And you also notice that as you move, it seems to match your movements.
Can it speak?
Do you try and talk to it?
I say, hello, you handsome devil.
You hear about a second later parroted back at you in your own voice the exact same thing.
Alright then. I reach out and touch it.
So as you touch the glowing blue orb, give me an average resilience check, so 2 purples.
Yeah, alright. Hold on, Bruce Mundy. Character sheet. 2 purples.
Yep.
Resilience. Uh-huh. How'd I do?
Yeah, so you feel an electric shock go through you, so it's not that painful, like you resist
So
it.
touching an electric fence.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's like a mild electric sort of shock.
Yeah, I'm a sheep farmer. I know what electric fences are.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep, no worries.
that goes through you. It doesn't hurt too bad, but it's not something you'd necessarily want to do deliberately.
Yep, alright. Okay, I sort of see what happens next.
So the little individual, sort of 3-dimensional representation of you, as you withdraw your hand, it reaches its hand out to the edge of the to the sort of round display orb in front of you. So it reaches out and touches the inside of the orb.
Alright, I guess I'll step back and see if it steps back into the machine or towards me.
Okay. As you step back, it appears from your perspective that its hand is starting to go through the edge of the orb, like it's actually managing to leave it.
Alright, I alert the other 2 to this disturbance.
That doesn't sound good.
Zaoxian and Onyx, whatever it is. Yeah, you might want to come and have a look at this.
What did you do now?
Nothing. I walked up to it and then I touched it.
That's not nothing.
Well, nothing hostile.
Still
I'm
not
no
nothing.
But I'm not an expert on this. How should I proceed?
Leave it be.
Let's not mess around with it more. Let's back up and keep a watchful eye on it.
Mm.
All right. I walk over to the other pyramid and see if it's similar to the other one. If it is, I'll back away.
It looks identical to the other.
So is it at the same stage of development, copying, or has it started anew?
So as you step towards it, you start to see your face develop in it, similar to how the other one began.
All right, I'll go have a look at the table then.
So on the table, you see a number of orbs all laid out on it. These seem to be a bit different to the orbs in those pyramids, and when you sort of look at it, you can see inside each like a three-dimensional display in more than just one direction, what appears to be writing.
Writing?
Yeah.
Do I know what language it is?
It appears to be the same language that you've seen elsewhere. You're not quite sure what it is.
Is it the same language on the Stargate?
No, it's different to the Stargate emblems.
All right. Yep. Just looking back over at that pyramid, has the first copy gotten any closer?
No, it seems to have pulled its hand back inside, from what you can tell.
Alright, I'm not looking to get any more electric shocks, I'll look at something else. What about this big T thing in the center?
So it appears to have three larger orbs on the end of each of those three arms. And then along the sort of the top two intersections between them is smaller orbs like you see on the table over in the other spots, so they have text inside them. The large thing in the center kind of looks like I can't remember the specific name of them, but like the
Tesla
electric
coil, or?
Yeah, like a Tesla coil inside those domes that you can get.
Yeah, those no, plasma ball. There's a plasma ball.
But it's a green color instead of your normal sort of look to it.
Assuming it's being a regular SCG grunt, and assuming that this is a plasma ball, I put my hands on top of the ball.
Don't touch it.
Okay, I won't touch it.
So
don't touch it.
Let's have a quick check to see if Onyx can warn him not to touch it before he actually reaches out his hand the full way. So let's have Onyx give a... What would be good for reflexes in this case?
Vigilance?
Yeah, vigilance would be reflexes. So give me an easy vigilance check.
Okay, I'm not good in those. Yeah, I'm very not good at those.
That's okay. Yeah, so Bruce touches it before you manage to tell him, but you do tell him just like within a second of when he touches it. But for that split sort of second, almost all of the streams tend to like go towards where Bruce's hand touches, much like it does with the plasma ball thing.
Alright. Am I being electrocuted or anything?
No, you don't feel any different.
Alright then. Alright, okay. I want to advance the plot. I'm no expert at any of these things.
New boy. Just take a chill pill. Let the brainy person over there, he pointed Zhao Shen, do his brainy work, and then we can play with things.
No pressure. There's no pressure on me at all.
Hey, this is my first time off world. I'm excited.
I get that. However,
He's
let
an
him do
emotionless
the
robot.
work before we actually kill ourselves in here.
All right, understood. You do your thing. I'll do what you tell me.
So this looks like a brain, right? A giant brain.
Yes, it does.
Does it look like it's alive?
Is it pulsating? Is it moving at all?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
The little purple veins in it pulse a bit like it's blood flow.
All right, don't touch it.
I really wish there was a way that we could like read the brain, like do tests, electromagnetic tests, to see what's going on. But we don't even know what race or what origin that thing is. I doubt we'd be able to actually do that. I believe the display over here is probably information concerning that brain, but it doesn't do us any good since we can't read it.
So how do we learn to read it? More specifically, you and a new boy.
Well, I've already tried and failed, and also I am very bad with linguistics. That's not my area of specialties.
I mean, you just put a couple of letters in a bucket and mix it up, add some spices, and voila! Right? That's
No.
how language works.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
It is a lot more of a game of wisdom rather than a game of knowledge, if you catch my drift. I'm good with the sciences.
yeah.
I'm not good with the connotations and nuances of language.
I mean, if there is no safe way to figure out what we're doing, we'll have to do it the new boy's way.
Shoot it?
No, don't shoot it.
It's not hostile. I'm not going to shoot it.
It's not only that, it is connected to this hidden floor, and I don't really want to find out what happens when it literally comes alive.
Or, you know, it could just suddenly decide to turn off the oxygen. Yep. I try speaking to the brain.
As you talk to it, you notice a tiny bit of glowing happening in certain regions of it.
It can hear you. Perfect.
Can I make a life science check to see if that is the part of the brain typically in humans that would be activated for language?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a hard life science check.
There we go.
Yeah, so it matches closer to a combination between sort of an Asgard brain and a human brain in terms of region, but it does light up where you would sort of expect it to if it was recognizing speech. Not necessarily understanding, but recognizing that speech is occurring.
Alright, okay. So the whole one flash for yes, 2 flashes for no isn't going to work here. Alright.
Wait a minute. if this is a combination, this entire place is been a chimera facility, like multiple different races into like human and human genetic or multiple different races genetic engineering. Is it possible that this race is like a or this brain is like an amalgamation between human brains and Asgard brain, like a chimera itself, like a monstrosity created? I want to go back up and check the those pods. Can I see if there were two pods, right? Two smaller ones, right?
Where are you
do I-
talking? Sorry.
With up here, there were like two smaller ones, right?
In a cloning facility.
Oh yeah, the two
And-
smaller pods there, the stasis-looking pods.
Yeah.
There you go. I've created you a new token.
my clone has just eaten me.
No,
Or is
that's
this
actual you. I've created you a proper token now.
Alright, no worries. Yep.
So, in terms of if I blow it up in terms of size, you can
Alright.
see it properly there.
There we go, thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, well-
So, what were you wanting to do with the stasis pods again? Sorry.
I want to check to see. I assume because they were similar to Asgard cloning. I want to see if there's a possible two different organisms in there.
I mean, there are little tiny displays on it with text, but it's the alien text that you've not yet understood.
Like, but there's no like windows. I can't look into them.
There are no windows on those two stasis-looking chambers.
Okay. What Onyx is looking at?
Onyx is looking at what appears to be similar to the large circular ring with the same sort of crystals in it that was in the other room that you determined was showing various things like Stargate addresses and the same sort of
and the
atoms
room,
floating above it, like in Torment of Tantalus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's similar to that on a much smaller scale.
I'm going to touch it, try to interact with it. You know, the way we know to interact with the big ones.
Mr. Hypocrite here.
I actually kind of know what I'm doing.
Alright, okay, fair enough.
And then the party dies.
Right. So you want to try and manipulate it the same way you did with the larger one?
Yes.
So the larger one had little consoles around the outside, the four.
Yeah.
You don't see that here. So do you want to touch it in some regard, or are you wanting to? What are you wanting to do?
Well, since brain person can't figure anything out, I will touch it. I give him a fair chance.
Give me a hard resilience check.
Hold on. I'm the one that's been touching things and putting myself in danger. Let me touch it.
Okay.
Too late. Hard was free, right?
Yes.
Okay. Resilience. Okay, I'm very bad at those as well. Okay, good. Let's have some fun.
You get shocked somewhat intensely, and you take 3 strain.
Okay. I do it again. Gently.
I thought you were meant to be the brains.
I'm not the brains. The little guy is the brain.
Please stop shocking yourself.
At least I can feel it.
Are you going through an existential crisis, robot?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'll program in a purpose for you later.
for Bruce's character sheet, just to help out a little bit, I put up your wound and strain threshold up to what it should be for your character, and gave you some soak, which should be roughly the right amount of soak for your character as well.
Thank you very much.
We can explain those later if need be. But for the moment, yeah, if you touch it again, give me the same check as last time.
Okay. Resilience. There we go.
The same thing happens and you take another 3 strain.
Okay.
Alright, stop. Don't touch it.
Okay. I go to this hollow thing and let it copy me.
You look into it and it starts to replicate your face inside it.
Mm-hmm.
As you look at it closer, it starts to create a 3-dimensional version of your body and mimics whatever actions you perform.
He's just standing looking straight.
Okay, then it's just standing still.
He doesn't interact with it unless it tries to interact with him.
It just does exactly what you do at the moment.
Okay.
Let's not give the possibly evil computer more data on how to replicate us.
It's gonna have a real puzzle with me. On biological level.
Is this just a desk?
Yeah, with each of those blue orbs having writing in it, but it's writing in a 3-dimensional space. So it's not just like even as a holographic display, you're seeing it in not just left to right or right to left or up to down, but also all 3 dimensions, so X, Y, and Z.
I'm at a loss of how to proceed.
Mm-hmm.
We tried this room as a Stargate. This is a cloning pod.
It's also an archive.
Yeah, to things we can't. If we could just figure out a way. Ooh, I got an idea. Can I use my the former professor to call in a favor from the academy to get somebody to get a scholar who's a linguist to try and come and decode this?
Sure.
I can't imagine they pass up an opportunity to discover and be credited with translating a new language.
You call in a scholar by the name of let's see. You call in a scholar by... Actually, let's use him. You call in a scholar who is was teaching at a university for a bit, but you know him from his interactions with the Stargate program. He was originally from another planet, and his name is Nyan, sorry.
Alright. Sorry to call you on such short notice, Nyan, but could you take a look at this language and see if you can come up with any clues as to its decoding?
So yeah, he takes a look at the language there, and it takes him a bit of time, but he recognizes similarities to Furling writing, but it is somewhat different. And there's Nyan. Although he's
Is there a
significantly older than that now, because it's like 20 years later almost.
Is he still taking good care of his teeth?
Is it possible
yeah,
he
they
can get a
still-
general idea of the content by like going through and seeing if there's any like pictures in the words?
Yeah, so he goes through and he looks at this and he can get some general ideas of what it's saying most of the time. The more technical aspects they don't directly translate, but he has determined that the little displays that are copying people are sort of like what's a good way of explaining it? Like a he explains that it's almost like an imprint, that it is learning, attempting to learn about the physiology by copying it.
Is it potentially hostile?
That's unknown.
Or how long do you want to keep testing with this thing before we decide to back off?
Oh my god, guys. This base, it might actually be darker than we thought. We thought that it was a Goa'uld outpost to obviously enslave this planet, but it really might be a masterminded this race trying to get information on us to possibly do bad things to us. If the replicating is getting information based on information physiology processed, then all of the chimeras downstairs would be a treasure trove of information.
All right then.
From the information Nyan's looking over, he's him reading the information here, he suspects this might be these upper two floors are probably a ship, but it's closer to a wraith type of ship where it's an organic ship than the sort you normally have. So it's like it's grown. But in terms of, from what he can figure from text and trying to translate that into timeframes that are useful to you, he suspects this thing might be somewhere in the magnitude of 20,000 years old or older.
Okay, I'm going to slowly put my hand towards the orb, but not touch it.
So the little duplicate of you inside reaches out towards the edge of the orb, the edge of it inside.
Okay, does he touches it?
If you haven't touched it, it doesn't.
I will gently touch it.
So give me the average resilience check.
Okay.
You experience the same little tiny shock that Bruce experienced earlier, and it touches the thing. As you back your hand off, it almost appears as if its hand is now reaching through it.
I touch his hand.
Onyx, is your artificial learning mechanism broken or something?
No, your intelligent learning did not make any result, and the newbie here was up to something.
Yeah, so as you try and reach out and touch its hand, you realize that it's not actually reaching through. It just, to your perception, it appears to be. So as your hand goes closer, you realize that it's still inside the orb. It just looks like it's reaching through. Almost like you're wearing 3D glasses, except that you're not.
Okay. Now we have those 3 blue orbs in here and some switches here, yeah, right?
Yes.
Does any of those 3 orbs looks like me?
No.
I will touch it.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll be the one to touch it, because if I get shocked, I can take the hit.
Okay. So, as Bruce or Onyx or both of you touch this thing, you feel some energy sort of pass through you, but it doesn't hurt at all.
Okay.
All right. What if I went on the? What if I touched the thing on the other side?
Okay.
So you feel the same sort of thing, but suddenly you hear this noise echo throughout the entire facility, sort of like a deep groan.
All right. Hey Zao, would you be able to put your hand on the last one of these pads, please?
All right. Fine.
The facility starts to shake a little bit as the groan changes sort of pitch into a little bit more of like a sound, kind of like a screech, but not ear piercing.
Is it in pain or is it just snoring?
You're still feeling this place vibrate, and then on your radios you hear one of the teams outside sort of call in on the other floors of the tower, saying that the tower is shaking.
Okay, let's step back for a moment.
All right, I'll take my hand off.
And as you take your hands off, the noise sort of dies down, and the shaking subsides.
So was the sound clearer when we put more hands on, or not?
So when you had 2 hands on is when it started. When you put the third one on is when it changed pitch from a groan into a whine, but not irritating. It's trying to describe it. It's a little bit. It switches from a deeper sort of growling groan into just raising in pitch, basically.
Okay, so
if we got 2 other blokes to put their hands on the other 2 spots in between me and Zao and Onyx and Zao, would it be able to come clearer? That's just a theory.
I mean, you can ask someone to if you want. You've got people to do it.
Who else is in the tower?
So you've got Dr. Leo, Roman Chekhov, and Septimus.
All right, I'll call up Dr. Leo and Dr. Roman and ask them if they could come in and have a look at this thing and maybe put their hands on the panels and see if we can get this to be any clearer.
Okay. So as they put their hands on the panels, the noise changes. It goes back to that sort of whine you heard earlier, as the other ones do as well. And in that center section that looks like a plasma ball, it changes into almost like a visual display.
All right, what does the visual display look like?
A galaxy.
galaxy? Anything like a location lit up or anything?
Yeah, it looks like there is a location lit up. Dr. Chekhov decides that he's going to move one of his hands slightly, and it suddenly zooms in quite quickly into the lit up location, and what you can see there is a planet that looks remarkably similar to the one that you're on.
All right, then.
Like-
We know where we are.
Okay, let's check other planets on the list.
Okay. Does someone want to give me a hard operating check? I don't mind who does it.
I could give you a piloting check.
It needs operating.
Is Zhao here? Zhao?
Nadrock Nell, the power the power got cut to his computer.
Okay. Oh. He will be the best one to roll it. But in the absence, I will.
Okay.
All right then.
Wish me luck. Hello? Zhao, is that you?
That was, I think, his Discord catching up and disconnecting him.
Okay. Rolling over then. Oh.
I mean, you fail to alter it to look at other planets, but don't fail too badly. So, I think what's the best way to do this? Give me an easy knowledge transportation.
There we go.
Yeah, so what you do determine from your attempt is that this is essentially the flight controls, what you're all touching right now. And
Oh, so we're
sounds
basically
you're
up
hearing are the engines.
Okay. So,
Want to take it for a spin?
are you any good in flying? Piloting?
Operating. The
Oh yeah,
difference
because it's a
here
capital.
is... Yeah.
It's a capital ship. Yeah, I okay.
If this is a
No.
capital ship,
Well, kinda, yeah.
so what, like a battle? So
Yeah.
what, like a battleship with turrets?
Well, not necessarily with turrets. It's essentially you've got different sizes. So piloting is like 1-man sort of fighters, sometimes 2 to 3 men, but they're small things that are fast and maneuverable. Once you go like quite a bit larger than that, you're hitting into things of size where they're not that maneuverable. So you're looking at a different sort of check. So it's not agility; it's more intellect based, which is operating.
All right. Yep. No worries. Yep.
Okay. So we know these things fly. I mean, potentially.
That is what you've determined from this console, yeah.
Okay, so we are top floor. Let's go one down, where we haven't been before.
Okay.
Alright then.
So one floor down.
This still should be a ship. We just don't know what's there.
Yeah. So as you go back down one floor, what you find there is there is. I've misplaced it. That's always fun. Yeah, what you find down one floor is a small sort of area, similar in appearance to the corridors here, that appears like there's a large group of crystals similar to the Stargate room there. Well, Stargate room, what you were sort of referring to as a Stargate room in this one. And it is larger and is almost like a mess of crystals in different directions that look like they can be removed or moved around. That's the only thing on that floor.
Dad. Mate.
So it looks basically like this room here.
Alright.
Just bigger.
Yes. And
Okay, so
crystals
we have
going
even
in
bigger.
every direction and reaching from floor to ceiling rather than looking down into a pit of them.
So we have bigger archives. Okay. We
In
know
this
how to
case, it
operate them.
doesn't look quite. It doesn't have the same sort of holographic display. It's just got the crystal appearance.
And are they those vines rods to control them?
Yeah, they do have those around the outside as well.
Okay, let's touch those and see what combination does what.
Okay. As you start to touch them, you find some of the crystals changing color. And Dr. Chekhov realizes that what you seem to be interacting here with is something akin to an engine.
Okay.
Like a main power core almost.
Alright, okay.
Let's not break it. If we're in the engine room, let's not break it. Because, well, that's bad when the engine goes boom.
Right. Yeah, so one of the other teams sort of says to you that this looks like it's a good place to continue researching. They can look into it if you like, if you wanted to head somewhere else, or if you wanted to keep looking at this, you can. But
I
they
would like
suggest...
to. I'm a bit out of my element here, so I'd like to go somewhere else.
Okay.
We don't know where to go, kind of thing.
So
I mean,
this team suggests that you maybe head back to Pilios, and see if you can find anything of value there, whether it be uh, in terms of straight up information or plans of attack or anything that could help the defense against the Neo-Terracois armies.
Wow, that's one option. I mean, on this planet, what we have not fully explored is the cave when Septimus was caged.
That's true. You could also do that.
But I'm not sure if I want to do that without brain person being present. Yeah, let's check the cave.
Okay.
We know there is facility there. We just don't know what it does. And let's leave doctors and the new translator guy to work on the language, and the other brain people to work on how this ship actually works.
Okay.
It's most likely a research vessel and stuff, but what it does, and what are its capabilities and stuff.
Okay, so yeah, you head back down to the caves then, assuming that's what both of you want to do. Okay. He shouldn't be there any longer. Yeah, so you're back down in these caves. You can bring your token here as well, Bruce.
Oh, yep. Sorry.
So the way you do that is if you click your character and just drag it from the little column of character sheets onto the map, it'll drag you onto the map.
Yeah. How you doing, Zao?
Yep, you're a significantly different size. Hang on, I'll fix that.
Right. Thank you very much.
I will update that because I think he had the. Well, then it should default you to the right size. Now it should, at least when you drag your map on, your character on.
Yep. As we're heading into this new area, what sort of weaponry do I have?
So at the moment you're wielding a P90.
Alright, okay, yep.
And
yep,
we
no
can
worries.
deal with the rest of it a bit. We'll do it after the session if that's okay, if you've got time.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no worries.
That way we can get you set up properly.
Yep. Sorry to drag this out.
No, that's fine. It doesn't bother me at all.
Yep.
It's fine.
Right.
It's fine. We've all been there one way or another.
Yep. Cool. Alright. Proceed with caution into the caves.
Okay. So as you sort of step your way through
Hey,
here...
newbie, this way.
Where are we? And we got there at the entrance. Ah, right. Yep. Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah.
No, I tell the newbie that we freed the Septimus. Here he was basically stuck here, chained, and we made a lot of noise. And then we heard the door open. Your job is to find the door.
Right, find the door.
Mm-hmm. And don't get yourself killed in the process.
don't get myself killed in the process. Okay. So, all right, door looking for. All right, I'm gonna look for any markings on the ground, like tracks from trails regularly used, and see if any of them lead into the walls.
So what you can see on the ground is basically stone. The cave is, there's stone, there's dust, there's some cobwebs here and there. There's not much in terms of regular sort of path or footprints or anything like that. That
Alright,
you can
okay.
see.
All right, okay. So nothing to indicate some possible secret door.
Not that you've seen so far.
All right. Just out of curiosity, are these bodies of water or acid? Green stuff.
From everything you've been able to tell previously and what you've been told by the other team, you would say that there's some form of water, though it's not the most clear water.
So it's got mercury in it, or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So won't drink that. Okay. Where you're off to, Onyx? Check near the boxes. See if anything's broken.
Yeah. So near the boxes, you can see a whole range of different things. Though most of the boxes and other bits appear to be broken, you find remnants of various sorts of weapons. You find swords and shields, and every now and then you find something a little bit more advanced, like a staff weapon.
Does it start? Oh no. So nothing of relevance, really. In order to find this door, I don't know. What do you recommend, Onyx? You've been on this mission longer than I have.
We walk till we find it.
All right. Start rubbing my hands across the walls.
So
with my gloves
in
on.
front of you, down in this sort of direction, what you can see is sort of an entranceway. It looks like it wasn't always here.
All right, then we go in it.
Yep.
Okay.
Stealthily, boy. Stealthily, new boy. Stealthily. Let's be stealthy.
Right, where do we pop out? Here or?
Yeah.
All right, are we standing on like sand?
It's still similar to the last cave floor, but it feels like beneath your boots, it feels a little bit more metallic.
All right, don't know how you do that with boots, but all right.
Stealthily.
In terms
Stealthily.
of sound, I guess would be what I mean.
Okay. I'm gonna stealth.
All right, I'll stealth as well.
Okay. Give me a make the difficulty average. So just roll 2 purple on its own there for you, Onyx, because you forgot that part. But yeah, average stealth, so 2 purples and stealth.
Yeah, still a success.
Okay. Yeah, you both come through here without making too much noise.
Cool. These rose bushes or bone piles? What are these red bits?
What you see is a pile of bones and body parts.
Any that what I would recognize? Any humans or?
There are stuff that look like they could be from humans or Jafar, yeah.
Yep. Alright. Alright. Continuing still. I guess continue.
Yeah, so as you go deeper in here, you can see a lot more of these piles of parts, and then what appears to be off to one side there, a pool of what appears to be blood.
Alright, I ready my P90.
Yeah, I'm ready my AK.
And you can hear, start to hear sounds of breathing.
Alright, I find some form of cover. Is the breathing getting closer?
As you move forward, you do feel like it's like you're approaching it a little bit more.
Alright, okay, yep. Yep. Alright, I step a bit closer.
And then, as you step to where you are right now, you sort of realize it's above you.
Oh.
Is it arachnid?
As you look up, there does appear to be some large 8-legged creature, about twice the size of you, sort of up there above you, clinging to the ceiling of this place. And it, from what you can tell, you would say it would be sleeping.
Sleeping. All right. Are there any knowing a bit about spiders? Are there any bits of web hanging on the ground, like snare traps?
Now that you're looking around, you can see little tiny bits and pieces, and as you look into these piles of body parts, you can see that some of them are tied together with a string-looking stuff, but it's like a sort of a brownish black sort of stringy looking stuff instead of what you'd typically expect.
All right. How strong does the arachnid's armor look? Would I be able to penetrate the armor with the bullets?
Give me a average. Let's see. Good. Yeah, average life science check. So.
All right, average life science. Okay. Yep. With 2 purple dice.
Yes.
Average life science. LLL. Oh. How'd I do?
You succeeded.
Succeeded. All right. So, does it look like I could penetrate it with the P90 bullets?
You think you could do some damage to it? You don't know precisely how much.
Alright, is there a way I can shoot the thing without being immediately seen once it wakes up? Hiding in the bone piles, maybe. You know what? I'm going to hide in the bone piles so that the stench of the bodies and bones masks, provides some cover and masks my scent. And I guess I ask Onyx, you're alright if I shoot this thing? Hello?
Onyx doesn't have an idea what to do with this thing.
Look, either we shoot it now or we end up dead in one of these body piles.
Then we shoot it now.
Alright, you get into one of these piles so it doesn't immediately so it will think you're dead.
I don't think that's gonna work, but yeah. Let's just shoot this thing.
Alright, fine. You stay out in the open and shoot it, and it'll come towards you. All right, I start shooting at the spider.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Give me a. So if you go to your second tab across the. Sorry, third tab, combat.
Combat. Yep.
Give me a. Make sure there's no difficulty on your roll, but give me a cool combat initiative check. Okay. And yeah, I will very quickly load this in for you, Bruce. Okay, so in combat there, under weapons, click add, and I'll give you the stats really quick for the P90. That one. So its damage is heavy. There we go. Damage is 8. Critical is 2. Encumbrance is 3. And hard points, or HP, is 4. I will copy this bit because it'll be a little bit quicker. So with it, you can choose to activate the auto fire quality. If you do that, you increase the difficulty by 1, but it lets you hit multiple times, basically. If you get extra advantage in the check, you can spend that advantage to hit it multiple times.
All right, I want to hit this thing as hard and fast as possible. I don't want it descending from the ceiling on top of me. I want to kill it as fast as possible, so I'll put on auto fire.
Okay, so your current distance from it will be short range. So the ranges I will show. I will bring this on here just so that you can see it a little bit easier. See, yep, not that one. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna put this here just so that you can see the range bands and can help a little bit.
Oh, yep.
There you go. So you can see the different difficulties and how that functions.
Yep. Anyways, the short range is one die.
Yep, and if you're going to auto fire, then you're increasing the difficulty, so you're going 2.
Medium. Okay. Just bringing up my thing again.
Yep. So you just you put 2 up, and then if you look at your weapon itself, in between critical and encumbrance, it's actually got a roll button on there. We just have to set it to the right skill first, and it's got range. There we go. I'm just quickly entering a few extra details here for you.
So 2 difficult dice. Sorry, 2 purple dice.
And its current ammo should be at 50. So there we go.
Alright, no worries.
Yep.
Okay, start shooting it.
So you miss somehow.
Shit. Wait. Failure. Advantage. Okay. What do I do now? Fire again, I guess. Re-aim. Roll again, or
so the way it works is, so that, I mean, you miss in your turn. Even if you hit auto fire, you still haven't hit, so it wouldn't really do any damage if you auto fired.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
What you can do with advantage is you could take a defensive position, which will make it a little bit harder to hit you.
All right, I'll take an offensive position. How do I do that?
So
what do I need to do?
You just declare that's what you're doing, and you can spend some of the
Alright, I
advantage
take an
to do
offensive
that.
position.
Defensive, sorry, I meant.
Defensive.
And then the other thing you could do is you could pass on a boost to the next person to take a check with a little bit of advantage as well, which is one advantage will let you do that.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yep.
And so that means Onyx will have a little bit easier time. So it's woken up now. And yeah, that's your turn. So then Onyx's turn, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to take my. It's going to be auto, but I'm going to take my maneuver to aim to release the difficulty by 1.
Okay.
Correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Aiming gives you a boost die if you're using your maneuver for that.
Okay. So difficulty 2, burst 2.
Because you're in medium range from where you are currently. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and auto fire up 1, so that's 3.
Yep.
And shoot.
Yeah, so you hit this thing and you're dealing. It's going to take. So you fire 2 bullets, but if you auto fire, you're using 4.
Yep.
I'm assuming you picked up more ammo in between sessions.
I got my ammo filled up in a mag, but no, I didn't got any spare mags. Forgot about it.
Okay. I don't mind if you want to add that in now. I have no issue with that.
Yeah, he would actually do that. I just need to look for the things.
And as for Bruce, just decrease your current ammo on your P90 by 1, because you've only got 1 failure, so you only used 1 bullet in your miss.
No worries.
So, yeah, you hit this creature and you're dealing 10 damage. If you're auto firing, then I guess you're dealing another 10 to it.
Was that for me or Onyx?
That was Onyx that shot that.
Oh, yeah, yep. Sorry.
Yeah, I will give him advantage. I mean, boost.
Okay. So the boost is the name of the blue die. So he's passed you a boost for your turn when we come round to it, which will be now because... Oh, no, sorry. It'll be the spider first. But it means when you take your check, you'll gain... You can put 1 boost on, so 1 blue die, which will make your roll a little bit better. And then if you wanted to use... so for combat, you've got an action and a maneuver. An action is something like shooting or that sort of thing. A maneuver is moving or aiming or that sort of like more action. They're basically for things that aren't counted as actions. So, you know, taking cover, taking a defensive stance, various things that don't directly impact like a major element, like an action, like an attack or a check or that sort of thing.
Right. Okay. Yep. Okay. So put on the.
So
boost
you're in a defensive position. So this spider's gonna sort of start to descend from the ceiling, reaching towards you. And is going to try to strike at you. I'm just going to roll a check here. You're in a defensive position, so you have a set back on there, and I'll put another one for your armor as well. So it hits you.
Oof.
And it does 9 damage. But what you do is, with your character, up the top of the sheet, you'll have a soak.
Yep, soak 4.
Yep. So you reduce the damage by how much soak you have.
Alright, so 9 minus 4, 5 damage.
Yep. And then you increase current wounds up that many.
Alright, okay. Just trying to find my HP.
So it's called wounds, and it's just above
wounds,
the
so
soak bit. So your
minus
threshold is 13, so you add 5 to current. So it works sort of in the opposite direction to most systems.
Okay.
You increase it instead of decrease it.
Alright.
Yeah, so that is the spider's turn, and it's now in striking distance from you. So engaged range.
Alright, I try and move. Can I move away from it and fire my P90 at it?
Yeah, you certainly can do that. If you want to move back a range band, you can move to short with a maneuver. If you want to move a bit further than that, you can take 2 strain and take a second maneuver to go back to, say, medium range.
Alright, so move back 2.
Yep.
And I'm still allowed to fight.
So, for instance, short range would get you to... so with one maneuver, would get you to about here away from it. With the second maneuver, you can get about to where Onyx is currently.
And I'll get to where Onyx is and fire at it.
Okay, so because you've taken a second maneuver, you take 2 strain to do that. So on the strain bit next to wounds, you just give yourself 2.
Alright, 2, yep.
Yep. And now you're at medium range, so you can see that the check for a medium distance is an average check.
Alright, average check, which is 2. Alright, I'll fire again. Combat. Initiative. Alright, firing. And I do.
Yeah, so that missed again somehow. I don't know.
What have I done wrong?
You didn't do anything wrong. It's just unfortunately, roll of the dice was not in your favor.
Yeah.
Because, with how good you are at it, normally you shoot better than that. So it was just unlucky, really.
Bad rolls, bad roll. Very unlucky roll.
Alright, okay.
So
your
you
turn,
use
Onyx.
1 extra ammo.
Yep, I've already deducted that.
Okay. You can also use the 2 advantage that gained on that check. You can actually use them if you would like to subtract 2 strain. So that's a way you can use advantage.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yep.
Which will put you back down to 0 on strain.
No worries.
Okay, Onyx.
I'm aim.
Okay.
And shoot. It's in medium range now, yes?
Yes.
And shoot.
Okay.
So was it the factor that I didn't aim before, or?
No, it's
no.
Just
it was just a bad roll.
Honestly, if you rolled that again, I'd suspect it would likely hit. Especially given, you got 2 bad rolls in a row, basically. With your dice pool, you will hit more often than not with that sort of check.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going for auto fire.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one up there. So there we go.
You missed, but you get a triumph.
I will bank it.
Okay.
And with that advantage, 1, 2, 5. I will spend 2 advantage to give a newbie a boost.
Okay. And 1 to pass on to the next person, I'm guessing, as well. So 3 advantage to give him 2 boosts.
Yes.
Okay.
And with the rest of those 3, I will just lower my strain.
Okay. Yeah. So on Bruce's next turn, he will have 2 boost, and if you aim as well, you would get a 3rd one.
Right, I'll aim. So that's
The
3
spider
blue
will
dice.
act first, though. So if you look at turn order, you'll see that at the moment it's NPC turn, which in this case is the spider.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
The way the other 2 work is when you roll your initiative at the start, it determines the placement of player characters and NPC characters. If you're prepared for combat, it's a cool check, which is why it was cool in this occasion. If you're unprepared, it's a vigilance check.
All right.
And you don't necessarily have to take the slot that is the one you rolled. You can choose individually every round who wants to take the first, second, third, however many player characters you've got in there, who wants to take which slot. And you can change it according to what's more advantageous as well. So it's basically, as long as it's a player character slot, any player can take that slot. You just choose who does.
All right.
So the spider's going to move towards you, but it's not really... I'm just going to put in an icon for it now. It gets up to you, but that's the extent of its turn. Because you moved far enough away. So now it's back round to the beginning of a round. So Bruce or Onyx can take it. It's up to the both of you. But by the sound of it, it's Bruce, because Onyx passed on boost to you that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So -1 purple dice. So 1 purple dice.
So you're in engaged range at the moment.
On engaged range. So that's nothing.
So if you look in the bottom corner of the range indicator, you'll see how it works with engaged.
Yep. Hold on, bottom corner. Sorry, you got the 2 chat icons are in the way. Hold on.
Oh, you can scroll down or something.
Yeah, I'm trying. Melee, ranged, engaged, melee.
We'll make it a bit
melee versus
larger.
ranged.
There you go.
All right. Range versus long range melee, heavy versus melee. So 4 die.
Because it's a ranged heavy. If you're in engaged range, it'll be a difficulty of 4. If you spend 1 maneuver to back off to short range, then you go back to easy. So it's probably your best bet to do that.
Or step back to medium, so he doesn't
But
go
that would be
straight into
too
your
much.
face.
So medium.
to
So medium's about there.
Yeah, that's good for medium.
All right. I'll shoot him.
And take 2 strain to use your second maneuver to go to medium.
No worries. Yep. How many purple die?
So at medium range, it's 2. If you want to auto fire as well, you increase it by 1, so it'd be 3.
All right, I'll go 3. Did I have 2 blue die saved up, or?
Yeah, you've got 2 blue die passed to you from Onyx.
All right. Okay. I'll shoot him.
And you hit and you triumph.
Yes!
So one of the ways you can use that, so you can spend your 2. It takes 2 advantage to activate auto fire now that you've succeeded that roll, which will let you hit it a second time for the same damage as the first. So we basically just use that roll and take everything you did there and duplicate it.
So 16 damage.
So it's the damage count plus the number of successes you've got. So because you've got 2 successes, the damage you're dealing is 10.
Alright, okay,
Because
yep.
the weapon does 8 plus the 2 successes.
Alright, can I give some boost to Onyx?
You could. I would, in this case, however, use your advantage to auto fire, and the triumph you can either crit, or if you want to do what Onyx did before and bank it for the end of the session, you can do that.
I'll try and do the triumph for crit, what you said,
Okay.
yeah.
So, you're dealing... If I can figure this out. 10 damage each hit with a pierce of 1. Gives that with a critical gone over. Okay, let's see how it goes.
$82 damage.
So that's the critical roll. So what you've done there, so once it rolls, it looks at the table and it finds the appropriate injury to that roll. In this case, you've winded it. It cannot voluntarily suffer strain to activate abilities or gain additional maneuvers. So essentially, it's not going to be moving up to and attacking in the same turn because it can't get that sort of range off at the moment.
Alright, yep.
Okay. Who wants to... I guess it's Onyx's
It's me. It's me. I'm gonna move there. That's active. That's with the strain cost.
Okay.
And can't maneuver. Don't have any boost. It's medium range. Shoot. Single bullet.
Okay. Yeah, you hit it for 10 damage. Yep.
I'll bang that triumph again.
You can only bank 1 triumph per session.
Oh, okay. So I have to spend it.
Yes.
Yeah, let's roll the crit.
Okay. There you go.
There you go.
Now, normally the offset that's on a crit wouldn't be that high, but I'm trying to sort of show the way criticals and everything work a little bit more in this combat thing. So yeah, you land a critical on it, you shoot it, and it dies.
Yep.
There's this dead spider in front of you now.
Does it look mutated or tampered with?
I mean, it's a giant alien spider. In terms of, does it look... What are you after in particular?
I mean, was it bioengineered? Is it a mix of 2 different species kind of thing?
Give me an average knowledge, life science. You
No
can't
idea.
tell precisely. I would. What you can both do now that combat's over, make sure you have no difficulty and choose between discipline or cool, and roll basically a simple check. So no difficulty, just discipline or cool. Whichever one you prefer of the two.
Trying to find.
No, that's for both of you as well.
Yeah. Discipline here. Actually, it makes no difference. But okay,
Bruce?
I succeeded.
Hello?
Don't tell me that Discord killed him.
You there?
Hello? Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Give me a discipline or cool check, whichever one you prefer. No difficulty.
Bruce, character sheet. So no die.
No
dice.
No purple die. Just the cool or discipline on its own.
Alright, okay. Character sheet. Combat.
It should just be in skills. The combat one's an initiative one, but that's fine. We'll.
No, so not cool. Go.
No, it is cool, but it's a cool from your skills tab rather than the combat tab.
Oh,
But it's okay.
right.
It does the same difference, but it just adds initiative when you do it from the combat tab. But that's fine. So the reason we do that is at the end of combat, everyone rolls a cool or a discipline check with no difficulty, and equal to the number of successes that you generated on the check that you chose out of cool or discipline, you regain that much strain. So Bruce rolled 2 successes, so you can remove 2 strain. So, yep, and you do that at the end of every combat, basically.
Right, how do I deal with my wounds?
So one of the ways you can use is a stim pack, or in this case a med pack is what we're calling it in Stargate. And for the first one that you use, it'll regain 5 wounds. The second one that you use will regain 4. Third one will regain 3, so on and so forth.
Alright, I'll use the first one to get rid of my 5.
Okay.
Do you have one though?
Yeah, he does. Because we're starting out, I'm giving it to him as starting equipment, partly so we can explain all of this.
Okay.
Alright, thank you very much.
And so you do have to buy them and take them and stuff like that, but I'm giving you some starting equipment anyway, so if you want to list under your inventory that you have another 3 of them, you can do that.
Alright, no worries. Alright.
Okay, and yeah, so you couldn't really tell if it's mutated. It looks, its front 2 limbs look like they're a bit more like appendages. So they've got like digits on them, like they're able to manipulate things.
Okay. Let's drag it back to the lab.
Okay.
Let's see what our brain people can take out of this thing.
If you want to try and drag this thing, it'll be a average athletics.
Alright, I'll take the left 4 legs, you take the other 4 legs.
Yeah, let's see where it goes. I'm not built for strength, by the way.
All right, then I'll take both legs.
Okay.
Oh no,
Yeah, I'm a big
I mean,
boy.
we-
I'm not a smart boy, but I'm a strong boy.
good. I mean, yeah, I will assist him.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
So by him assisting you, that gives you a boost die.
All right, no worries. All right, boost die, and what's the skill?
It's athletics and it's average difficulty.
All right, skills, athletics, average is 2. Blue die is the boost.
Yes.
All right, rolling.
Yeah, you.
Oh,
It is
Oh.
no trouble for you at all
Yeah,
to drag
fucking
this thing.
lift it up, Superman style above my head.
You know, that much success. If you want to start spinning it around or anything, you know, you can do whatever you want.
Thing. I start spinning it like a basketball on top of my finger.
Yeah, so this very large
Adam.
spider, about twice your size, you're just carrying it without any trouble at all.
Yeah. Let's go
Cannon.
back to the lab.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head back up. I assume you meant by this lab, or did you mean the other part of the lab?
This lab. This one is more bio lab than anything else. So yeah, this
Okay.
lab.
Yeah, so as you both head back up the elevators that were over here with the spider in tow, let's see, let's give you an icon for it.
And we have Dr. Leo, who is bioscientist something, who can actually look at it.
I mean, it doesn't look like this, but it's a decent enough icon for a spider.
Yeah.
Twice your
Come on,
sure
Scruffy.
There you go. Yeah, so you bring that back up here.
All right. Call out to who's the brains? This bloke with the bare chest or Lilith?
Lilith is the player that was feeling unwell and so wasn't able to come today.
All right, okay.
So you're actually at the moment it would be your NPC character you brought with you, which would be Dr. Leo, would be a bioscientist who Onyx quite despises, as does Lilith so far.
I mean, he just is not very smart for a smart person.
That's fair. So yeah, Leo comes over. Oh, what is it you've brought me?
Yeah, I brought
Cook
big
something
spider.
with it.
A large
spider. Call him
arachnid.
Yeah, we found it in a cave that Septimus was caged in. It was free, eating whatever it could find, most likely.
Fascinating. I would have thought, if that's the cave that you found Septimus in, that it would have at some point attempted to go after him. Septimus, do you recognize this creature at all? It came after me once or twice, but I just sort of kicked it and it backed off. Well, do you think maybe mentioning that to these two before they went down would have been a good idea?
It wouldn't make a difference. We'd just be a little more preferred what to expect.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's see what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I'm expecting mutated, pure kind of meal thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm no expert on this. I'm just gonna wait until these eggheads sort of talk.
I believe you would be correct. It appears to have some form of what I would almost guess to be human mixed in with this thing.
Eh.
It's
Is there
thorax.
any way? Oh, yep. No, continue.
Its thorax has more of the form of what I would say to be a larger human female, but it does not have what I would expect if it was more mammal-like in nature, more like an arachnid female, but its form and what I can tell from examining a little bit. I'm just going to double check. As he says that, he sort of slices open the thorax a bit more. It seems I am correct. It seems to have human-like organs inside. Not at all like a normal arachnid.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with that information. Yeah.
Well, it would indicate that perhaps, along with the other creatures mentioned, that they might have bred, or they may not have, depending on how controllable these things were, an army of spider people.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, that would be pretty effective. I mean, you have soldiers that climb on walls and can be stealthy at night. All right. I'm finished talking. I don't really know what to add to this.
That's fair. Well, what other information have you gathered so far?
Down in the caves, there were these large piles of bones piled up. Some of them looked humanoid.
Probably most of them will. Most. Does it have signs of nanites?
That is a good question. I will see if I can find any. He takes a small sample and brings it up to like this little tiny magnifying lens. And just going to check. Indeed! It does seem to have some nanites, however they seem to be deactive.
Well,
okay, perfect. How do we do that?
You mean reactivate them or
No, deactivate the active ones.
deactivate the active ones? All right.
I mean, there is an army of nanites, say, enchanted things that we have to shut down.
What about a localized? Yep.
A localized EMP, maybe.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Well, now that we have a sample of both active and inactive, it is quite possible, although I feel Roman would be the better man to do it, or maybe one of you. But I believe, personally, again, not really my field, I'm a biologist, but it should be possible to determine the right frequencies needed, especially when it comes to an EMP, to disable them, I imagine.
Who would I be able to talk to about EMPs and getting a working weapon prototype for it?
Well, I would suspect that if you have the right equipment, you should be able to adjust, say, an anti-replicator gun to do such a thing. I know that back at the SGC, you can certainly requisition one.
No worries. I guess I'll go back. When available, I'll go back to the SGC and I'll go get one and bring it back here. I might as well bring back a proper SG team and deal with these nanites here.
We already have 4 teams working on things. We are might as well use them.
All right, okay. We'll take an SG team back to Cheyenne Mountain, and we'll go get some anti-replicator guns, have them set to the frequency of these nanites, and we'll return back here and we'll kick some nanobot ass.
Okay.
Are you sure you were in the military?
Australian Army, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Mhm.
Sorry. Yeah.
You act like excited child more than a
All
soldier.
right, okay. It's my first time off world, sir. Well, okay, fair enough. I don't know what I'm doing. I just want something to do.
You're doing great. Just don't get overexcited.
Okay.
Or keep it in.
That's more the character he's portraying than actually saying out of character.
I know. I just want to do something. All right.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
It's a pretty good plan. Yeah. So basically, at the end of all of this, you've gathered this stuff for multiple reasons. We'll skip ahead a little bit and send you all back to the SGC.
Yeah, I think we exhausted our options in this tower.
And we should be able to bring you in here, Bruce. There we go. Yeah, so you arrive back at the SGC here. So a number of things happen, but primarily, you head up and give a debriefing to General Carter. There you go.
General Carter, upon arrival of the planet, we did an investigation of what we've determined to be a extraterrestrial spacecraft of unknown origin. It's clear that the spacecraft was made of a mixed origin, part Asgard, part human. They were, from what we gather, they were using cloning technology in order to make human and alien hybrids.
Okay. Yeah. So, you. Well.
Well, sorry, that's just what I gathered from it with my limited time there. I may be misleading, but that's what I gathered from. I'm no expert. I'm just the gunman.
Onyx?
Well, most of it is information you already know, but yes, the 2 top floors of the ship, of the tower, is actual ship, biological in nature.
Yes, there was a yep.
Some of the cloning technology that Asgard use might have originated from there, as we saw something as well. We managed to determine the age of the ship, which is somewhat 20,000 years old. It's probably from a different galaxy. Well, the engines are still active, but The language is unknown. We just plodding in the dark.
The engine was the ship's engine was also hooked up to a cloned brain, of mixed origins. Looks somewhat human, somewhat Asgard, from what was determined by the local science team. We tried to communicate with the brain by using the control panels on the ship to no success.
Give or take, yeah.
Very well. Did you find anything that would help us defeat the Neo Terracoi's army?
Maybe.
We found some deactivated as well as activated nanite specimens that we plan to use to set the frequency of the anti-replicator guns in order to produce an EMP in order to defeat the nanites.
Well, shut them down and then chaos ensues.
Yes.
They will find it among themselves.
Yeah.
Even better if we can, instead of a gun, make a bomb out of it.
Yes,
and
that
just
is more.
drop it there.
Yep.
Or even a couple of line mines or something.
Yep.
Excellent. So you suspect you can create the right kind of EMP mines, bombs, whatever, to deactivate these nanites?
I mean, we have access to active nanites as well as factor where they are more created. Right, in the tower.
Okay.
We have access to deactivate nanites, so putting the two together, we have science teams who are already working on it.
Excellent. Excellent. I will have all of our science teams here at the SGC do everything they can to modify our equipment, and then maybe we'll stand a chance against these. As for do you have any idea what the effect of the inactive nanites would be?
I'm assuming chaos.
Okay. Chaos is good. Chaos in their ranks should give us much better chance at attacking or defending.
Yeah. From what we know about those things and what kind of nanites they have, first, they don't age. So they will start to age. That's one thing. Second thing, maybe their age will catch up. Maybe their age will be accelerated to the point that it will catch up with their actual age. Maybe. No. Second, they don't need to eat. They are sustained by nanites. So they will suddenly have to eat.
Okay.
And they are carnivores.
Okay, so then it's really just the human and Jafar to deal with, or do you think that this might also work on them to some degree?
We don't know if the human and Jafar are affected by nanites to the degree that the creatures are. However, they will, once we deactivate the creatures and all the nanites that say maybe they have some kind of nanites that control the creatures, then once we deactivate them, the chaos ensues. The creatures are hungry. They got to eat. They turn for the first person they can eat, being a Jaffa or a human ally.
Okay,
they will
seems
fight among
like
themselves.
You've got a plan. Well, while you were off doing all of that, we determined that we may have found at least one of the staging points for their ships. So we're going to put together an assault team, and we'd like you to lead it, and we'll have you stage an assault to take over one of their ships if possible and use it against them from the inside. So it'll be you kind of need to do it without being alerting them, as it'll be an attack from within. So as stealthy as possible, take out as many as you can so that you can gain control of the ship, but do so without alerting them to warn the other ships, because we don't want them to realize it's coming till it's too late.
Yes, sir.
So that is your next mission. It'll take us a few days to prep everyone, so go rest up, do whatever you need to do for a bit of downtime, and I will send a call out to your team when it is time to lead the assault.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay. I think we'll end the session there in terms of story-wise, and I will give you 10 XP for the session. Gives you a total of 100 XP earned during all the sessions, and 2,000 EC, which is Earth currency, gained for this one as well. But that will finish it up there, and then if you would like any help to finish building your character or understand anything else there, I can do that as well.
And Bank rewards?
Ah, yes.
Bank Triumph?
Yeah, choose your best skill, no difficulty, roll it.
That's this one. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, along with your banked triumph, I will let you pick a trait to choose for your character. For worth 2 triumphs.
Okay.
So if you look through the traits there, you can choose one.
Okay. Running a PDF of
Yeah, so if you would like help understanding or building your character and equipment, Jacob, I can give you a hand with that.
I will get adapted to the night so I can get the dark vision.
Alright. Thank you very much. I'll do a bit of reading on this, and I may be joining on for the next session. I might not be.
Okay.
It really depends on the schedule, but I feel like I need to. If I am, this is my first Roll20 game, my first D&D game on this whole system, and I realize I need to read a lot more and get used to the system a lot more before joining in, as well as read up on the lore a lot more.
Oh, that's okay. In terms of the lore for this, it's somewhat evolved from the sessions itself. So where we're setting it is the year 2020, but in the Stargate universe 2020. So basically, COVID was somewhat solved by alien technology and stuff. So it still occurred, it just dealt with a lot faster. And then the Neo-Terracoi is basically several Goa'uld who have more or less been in the shadows for the last decade or so, rebuilding themselves to form what is essentially a new group of system lords, but they call themselves the Neo-Terracoi.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for that game. Yeah, if you're plan on hosting another one, I would be interested. But I'll need
Oh
to
yes,
do
please do. I mean, don't worry about not knowing the system or the lore. You can learn it on the go, just like most of us. I came to the system without knowing anything about it, you know. And please don't take my role play personally. It wasn't attack at you.
Yeah, it's sorry, I was just excited to finally
Oh no,
play this sort of thing
oh no,
online.
your character. Listen, your character is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just the interaction between your character and my character. It's going to be interesting till they actually learn how to live with each other.
Onyx is deliberately been made by him to be a little bit more abrasive, so it's more. It wasn't in regards to you how you were playing it or anything. It's just that's how he's playing his character of Onyx.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of designed that way.
Because he's an
Right.
android that doesn't really put up with organics that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, that blue bloke from the Orville, just a lot bulkier version of that bloke.
Yeah, that's not inaccurate.
Yeah, nah. Thank you very much.
No worries.
I need to do a couple of things before get to sleep tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, cheers. Thank you.
Well, have a good
Alright.
one. It's on weekly as well, so if you do want to come back, or if you, even in between, if you want to learn anything or ask any questions at all, like everyone had to learn it somewhere. The system can feel a little daunting when you first start out with it, but once you start to get a handle on it, it all falls into place a bit easier. So, but if you have any questions at all, any time during the week, don't hesitate to just send me a message or something.
All right. Thank you very much.
No worries. Have a good one.
Cheers. Bye bye.
See ya.